What really happens when a cruise passenger suddenly disappears at sea? And how does that shocking first moment unfold when they're finally found? The moment everyone was waiting for. When news breaks that a missing cruise passenger has finally been located, everything changes in an instant. For days, sometimes longer, there's fear, silence, and endless questions. Then suddenly, there it is, that first look, that first confirmation, that first breath of relief mixed with disbelief. We're not just talking about an update on a screen, we're talking about a moment that hits families, crew members, and even passengers right in the chest. On cruise ships, disappearances are rare, but when they happen, they shake everyone. According to official maritime safety data, only a small number of people go missing from cruise ships each year compared to the millions who sail, which makes every single case feel even more intense and personal. What the first look really means. The phrase "first look" isn't just dramatic wording, it's the moment authorities visually confirm the passenger's location and condition. Sometimes it's through rescue footage, sometimes it's a helicopter view, sometimes it's a rescue team reaching out and making contact. That first look answers the biggest question everyone has been holding on to. Are they alive? Are they safe? Even when the outcome is difficult, clarity matters. We often forget how powerful confirmation is after days of uncertainty. Families can finally stop imagining the worst. The crew can shift from searching to responding. Passengers can begin to understand what actually happened instead of filling the silence with fear. How searches at sea actually work. Once a passenger is reported missing, cruise lines follow strict international procedures. The ship immediately alerts authorities, and rescue operations can involve coast guards, rescue aircraft, and nearby vessels. Official reports show that time is the most critical factor. The faster the alert goes out, the higher the chances of location. That's why modern cruise ships use surveillance systems, electronic key records, and radar tracking to narrow down timelines. When the passenger is located, it's usually the result of coordinated efforts across multiple agencies. That's why the first look is such a big deal. It represents hours, sometimes days of non-stop work behind the scenes. The human side we don't talk about enough. Beyond the headlines, there's a deeply human story unfolding. Crew members often say these situations are among the hardest moments of their careers. Passengers on board feel the tension, even if announcements are limited. There's a strange quiet that settles over the ship. When the passenger is finally located, emotions spill out in unexpected ways. Relief, tears, shock, even guilt from those who were nearby and wonder if they missed something. We often see short clips or brief updates online, but behind that first look is a wave of emotion that doesn't fit into a headline. What happens after the passenger is found? Once the passenger is located, medical teams take over immediately if needed, and authorities begin investigating what led to the disappearance. Official statements are usually careful and factual, focusing on safety and next steps. Cruise lines rarely speculate, and that's intentional. Statistics show that many cases involve personal circumstances rather than ship-related failures. Still, each incident leads to reviews of safety protocols, crew training, and monitoring systems. The goal is always the same: prevent it from happening again. Why these stories capture so much attention? There's something about a missing person at sea that grips us. Maybe it's the vastness of the ocean. Maybe it's the idea of being surrounded by people and still vanishing. When a passenger is located, especially after days of uncertainty, it feels like the ending to a story we've all been emotionally following. That first look gives closure, answers, and sometimes hope. It reminds us how fragile life can be, even in places designed for fun and relaxation. When we hear that a missing cruise passenger has been located, we're not just reacting to news, we're reacting to a moment that carries fear, effort, and emotion all at once.
The first look matters because it turns questions into answers, it turns silence into truth, and most importantly, it reminds us that behind every headline there are real people, real families, and real lives forever changed.